My name is Susan Buckmorse, and I'm a political theorist at Cornell University. And this is my first encounter with the whole concept of reconciliation and with the group. I got an email and was intrigued by the invitation precisely because it's not the usual venue for me as an intellectual. Because these are people who do practical work, and the fact that it was global, the fact that it uses technology in an interesting way, and the fact that it was dealing with a kind of politics, I suppose they would call it an apolitical politics, in the sense that there is no real taking of sides, but rather an attempt to reconcile differences. And so I came with very little preconception of what this would be about, and I must say I find it extremely interesting. The people from all over the world. The projects are extremely, they're done with a great deal of commitment, and many of them seem to be quite successful. And to use the concept of reconciliation to deal with something like foreign aid, for instance, or health, or sport, is maybe a little bit counterintuitive, but the idea is always that, particularly in areas of conflict, that these kinds of person-to-person exchanges can actually be a time for reconciling differences. My own contribution turned out to be quite controversial in ways that I had not at all intended. I come from a background of concern with the foreign policy of my own country, the United States, and feel it necessary politically to be very specific in my articulation of the differences I have with my country. I do not feel ready for reconciliation. To quote the Dixie Chicks, I'm not ready to make nice, and certainly not during the 8 years of the Bush administration, which were extremely painful, and I discovered, in fact, even traumatic for me. Very upsetting to think of how many Iraqis, totally innocent of anything against the United States, have been murdered by occupying forces, paid for, and in fact, by my military, and the military that I support with my tax dollars. So I don't come to this with a sense of mending fences, but of expressing a concern that I feel as a U.S. citizen. And I think that was not exactly the spirit of the project. So I'm not sure I'm totally in resonance with the spirit of the project.